Okay, hello, hello, hello. So far, let's crank that around here so you can see my face. How is everyone doing tonight? My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is our Wednesday night live class. Come to you live on Wednesday nights, and we look at all things that have to do with portraiture. So let's see what we got cooking here. Okay, so what we do on our Facebook group, yeah, so far looking good. You're right, AJ. So what we do in our Facebook group on Wednesdays, we have a vote. We put up pictures, and then everyone votes on which portrait they want to draw. And this is our winner. So yeah, we're going to jump right into this. We're going to spend an hour. And so I will go over some basics, show you all the different things that I use when I come to draw a portrait. And hopefully we will make something that is typically very difficult and try and make it more enjoyable. I can't promise you I'll make it easier. It will be harder, but at least we can try and make it a little bit enjoyable. So anyways, I am so glad you're here. And if you do like this, please like the video and do all that good stuff. And we will, that would be excellent. I'd appreciate it. Okay, let's get into this face right off the bat. And whenever I approach most drawings, I go through a process and I try and repeat that process over and over again. So let's go over some basics before we get started. Okay. Let's look at this here. Let's draw three spheres on your page. All right. And with these three spheres, this is the process that I like to go through. And it starts off with 2D, 3D, and then face placement. Okay, where does the face go? So what do I mean by 2D? If you were in an elevator, or they used to have these elevators, sometimes you see them on cartoons or something like that, where there's an arrow that as the elevator goes up in the floors, you see the arrow move from the left to the right. Well, when we look at a head, the first thing we want to determine is the head tilting to the right, or is the head tilting to the left? So that right there is the first question we want to ask ourselves. So in this example, let's just say the first head is straight up and down. This next one, let's draw it so it has a slight angle. And in this one, we're going to angle it this way, just like that, okay? So the first one is straight up and down. The next one is tilting one way, and then the other one's tilting the other way, all right? That's the 2D axis. Okay, 3D axis is once you determine whether the head is tilting to the right or tilting to the left, the next question you have to ask yourself, is it coming forward or is it going back? You see, and that's quite a bit of an exaggeration that I'm showing to you, but that is the next step. So let's just say this one is looking straight at us. It's neither tilting forward or back. This one, let's say this is tilting backwards, okay? And then this one, let's say it's tilting forward. So how does this affect the head? Okay, so let's start with, I'm going to call this A. This is going to be B and C. So let's go to A first. If something's straight at me, of course, you know, that brow line, and the brow line goes right through the eyebrows, okay? And one other note, the brow line also starts and ends at the temples. And you could kind of grab your fingers and you could feel the temples in your skull, right? All right. Okay, so next thing in B, all right, so here's B. So in this case, our brow line is going to have a tilt up. You see, we're not looking straight at it, it's tilted up. And of course, in C here, we're looking down at it. So that's the top of the head right there, because the head's coming forward. All right, so that's the 3D. So we've established where the 3D is. Now the last part is establishing the placement of the face. Let me show you this little concept over here, and I bring it up a lot, but it is important. Down here in the corner of your page, draw 3 smiley faces, just like that. Okay, 3 smiley faces. The first one over here, just draw your circle just like if it was a smiley face. You see that? The next one, draw your circle so that the smiley face is to the left hand side of the circle. And then this bottom one, draw that smiley face so it's toward the top. So this is what I mean by face placement. Where you place the face on this sphere or skull will really tell you whether the face is looking to the right or to the left, if it's a 3/4 view, if you're looking up, or if you're looking down, okay? So when it comes to putting on the face, determining where that is, what we want to look for are the temples. Oops. All right, the temples. That's going to be our first mark right there. So in B, let's just say the temples are going to be over here like this. Okay? AJ, wow, you like that trick, huh? And let's say the temple is going to be over here. It's going to be over there. Okay? All right, so right dead in the center of the temple, we call it the mind's eye, or the, I think it's the glabella, okay? And it's right in the center of your head. So we can mark that right there. Now, when it comes to B, we don't want to put this dead center. We want to put it to the left just a little bit, because this is a 3/4 view. And whenever we see a 3/4 view, we're going to see more on one side than the other. And the same thing over here on C. We don't want to do that dead center. We're going to shift it just a little bit off to the right. Okay, let's come back to A now. Now look at, if I look straight at the camera, look at the sides of my head. The sides of my head are very flat. You see that? If I gave you a profile view, now you're going to get a very round head. You see? So we have to, and then when you get 3/4, you get a little bit of both. So you have to be aware of that. So in A, let's just, since this guy is looking straight at us, let's come in and just shave off the sides of this circle, just like this. Okay, because I'm looking straight at you. All right. And then on B, right at the temple here, let's draw a cylinder, a sphere, and it's like just like that. We've just cut off the side of the head there, just whoosh. Okay, and we do this right at the mark of the temple. You're going to see that tonight in our model that we're drawing. And the same thing on this side here. Now, when you think of this, when you hang up a shirt, you have a hanger. And everything's hanging on that hanger. Well, this brow line is the hanger, and everything's going to hang on that. And that's going to be our guide as we arrange things. So next thing we want to do is draw our center line of our face. It's going to be right there. Let's move to B. it's gonna match the 2D direction, and also a C. It's gonna come straight down just like that. And what we're doing, we are constructing the head. That's what we're learning, how the construction of a head works. And I always say, don't go for likeness, always go for construction, okay? Go for this construction. Okay, so right here, this is right where the jaw is, okay? So what we're gonna do is just drop down a little bit here, and then we're gonna just circle around, just like that. Same thing over here. This is where the jaw is going to be, so we're going to just drop it down a little bit, okay? And we're going to just circle this around, just like that. Over here, we're going to drop it down just a little bit and just bring it around. This is going to follow this same angle here. Drop this down. Now, this is the basic shape of a head. And so this is something that if you're relatively new to this idea, you really want to get good at drawing this basic idea. And you want to try this over and over and over again until it gets so ingrained in your head. All right, so this is step one of drawing a head or drawing a portrait. Okay, let's go to step two now and add some simple components to this. So here's my brow line. Here is my chin, and the nose is about halfway. Okay, it's about halfway. So we could do something like this. And this can vary. This isn't like rocket science. So somebody might yell at me and say it's a third. Well, it might be, but it's relative, okay? That's right. Practice, my friend. You got it, AJ. Okay, the gabella that's right dead center is usually this shape right here. It's a keystone shape. And they call it a keystone because if you had an arch of stone, the keystone shape is the key shape that's in the top of the arch. And that single stone there will keep the arch from falling in on itself. Here's a little bit of side history for you. Of course, I live in the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is where they signed the Declaration of the Independence of the 13 colonies in 1776. And Pennsylvania is known as the Keystone shape of the Keystone State because they were the cornerstone that started the United States. So just a little funny side note for you there. Okay, let's get back on our work here. Keystone shape up here, keystone shape right up there. All right. When we draw the tie, all right, when we draw the nose, we can use a tie as our basis. Watch, using that keystone shape there. We could do something like this. And then, of course, the wings are going to come off of there. You see that? I'll do that again. Keystone shape, draw a men's tie, and then add your wings. So let's do that over here. So this is going to come around, just like that. And then we'll add wings. The wings of the nose. Okay. Keystone shape there. Now this wing is going to be a little bit hidden. So once again, 3/4 view, we always want to show one side a little bit more than the other. Same thing here. This is going to come out. It's going to come in. Wing on that side, and the other one's going to be a bit hidden. Next, let's put in the barrel of the mouth. Okay, barrel of the mouth comes around here, and it goes slightly behind the nose, and it's going to go behind the chin. And the older you get, the more pronounced this gets. If you're young, it doesn't show up as much. Chin is going to go on top of that. And then your mouth is going to be right in between those two. And so the corners of your mouth end up lining up with that barrel. So watch this. If we just go boom, like this, that's where the mouth is going to go. Let's do it one over here. It's going to come across like this. And down here as well. Okay, let's look at this now. The inside corners of the eye will line up with the outside part of the wings of the nose. So let's come up here. It's going to be right there. It's going to be there. That's going to be the inside part of the eye. And let's do it on this one as well. And do it on this one as well. Same thing over here. The distance, the width of the nose is usually the width of the eyes. So we're going to take this measurement here, and it's going to be the width of the eye. Same thing down here. Let's do that here. Boom. It's going to be a little bit wider there, and this is going to go off the edge. Now let's just, for the sake, let's just do our simple eye. I'm going to do kind of a bow shape for the top of the eyelid. Hey Joe, how are you doing? Good morning. Good morning. You're already in tomorrow. What does tomorrow look like? Oh boy, you're already at tomorrow. It is Coffee with Joe. All right, let's hang some eyeballs on here, just like this. All right, something like that. Sometimes the corner of the mouth will line up with the eyeball. All right, something to at least think about. Winter, that's right. I forget that. That is such a interesting idea. It's winter time there. Okay. Let's get some lower eyelids there for those eyes. And the last thing we're going to add, and then we'll get to our drawing because I've gone a little long here, is our ears. Usually our ears, take off my glasses here, but our ears will line up with either the eye or the eyebrow, and the bottom of the ear will line up with the bottom of the nose, okay? So on our gentleman here, we can do this sort of thing. Right like that. Down here. It's going to be back here. Usually the ear lands in this back quadrant back here. And I think we're going to move on. So that should give you a lot of a good basis to build upon, okay? I would say this, I would add one more thing. You know, I finally got good at drawing portraits once I actually sat down and wrote down the process. Wrote down the process, drew pictures, and that really cemented it in my head, okay? Just an idea. Okay, let's get rid of this picture here and bring up our model. Wow, look at that. You can see his temple, you can see the side of his head, right? So let's start with a gesture. Okay, let's start with a gesture. Now, whenever this morning in the daily draw, I pointed this out to everyone. And when it comes to drawing a head, there's always, generally speaking, going to be a straight side and a curved side. So look at this gentleman's head right here. I'm going to bring up a new document, new page here. And look at this. Look how straight that is on that side there. And then look how round that is. You see that? So when it comes to doing a gesture, I always look for where's the straight and where's the round. All right, so let's put that in first here. So all I'm going to do is come in here and draw lightly. I'm holding my pencil toward the back here. Okay. Also, you know, I realized that I didn't even mention, look at this, he's our 2D axis, what we just talked about. Our 2D axis, he's like straight up and down. His head is not tilting left or it's not tilting right, and he's not coming forward or he's not going back. So our 2D axis and our 3D axis are all perfectly lined up. Hey, Miss Ebony, how are you? You're learning all kinds of great stuff. Excellent. All right. So there's our gesture, and then just for fun, let's just put in about where we think that eye line's going to be, that brow line's going to be. Just keep it light here. Back of neck right there. Back of neck right there. All right, so that's a pretty good gesture, I think. That's all I'm going to do right now. All right, let's work on getting our face placement. So when we go for the face placement, we want to look for the temples. Temples are the little things here we talked about. So the first temple is going to be over here on the left-hand side of his head. Now let's look at the other one here. Let's bring this up. So we got one right there, and then the other one's going to be right there. You see that? So this is a good question. How do I determine where to put those temples? Well, look at this. Look at this. This is a great way to do it. Look at the distance between those two, and then look at the distance from the back of his head. That's a good way to measure where that's going to go. So I'm kind of say that's the back of his head, It's not exactly center, it's just a little bit off from center. So I'm going to go right there, okay? I'm going to move it over just a little bit more. We never go for lightness. Don't ever try and get the lightness. Go for the construction. Get the construction down and the likeness will just snap into place, all right? All right, let's get that top, that T in place. All right. All right, let's get that T. I'm gonna come over there. Okay. There's a temple, there's a temple. We're going to come across and let's get that center point. Look at this now. Look at this distance. This is close and this is a little bit longer, okay? So we want to make sure don't put it in the middle, just push it off to one side ever so slightly. And we could drop that T down just like this. We could also now talk, remember how we took the side of the head off? Well, we could start doing that up here as well. One thing I did not show you is the area that's called the visor. Let me show you where that is here. Let me kind of erase this. Okay. Oops. Let me show you. Let me show you to. There's the temple. Like this. There's the center. All right, now look. This is the side of his head that I just drew. The visor comes back and comes forward like this, and then we can continue drawing the side of his head. You see that? Let's do that on our side, okay? So we're going to come in just a little bit like this. This side also comes in just a little bit like that. And then we're going to come down like this. And we can lightly connect those two. Now this center line is going to follow the contour. You see how it follows that on the inside, and then it's going to continue going straight down. All right, let's look at the side of his head here and try and get this just a straight angle, come down like this. There's his chin, okay? There's the edge of his chin. His jaw is going to straight come back here. And then we're just going to connect that up right there. Okay, let's continue on. Let's get that keystone shape, and it's coming in here like this. Make sure you make it a little bit more wider on the right side there. All right, let's talk about rules not rules. Let's talk about tools of measurement. All right, tools of measurement. Some of you have tried to draw portraits, and you've done a nice job using a grid system. I won't explain what a grid system is. You could look at it, but it's like taking a picture and gridding it out, and then you just redraw each of those squares. That's great. That will give you a lot of practice in eye-hand coordination. But I say you move on from that. That is also a tool of measurement. You're measuring proportion using a grid. Well, I do the same, but I keep my tools far more limited than a whole grid. I like to use vertical lines, horizontal lines, and negative shape. Those are my go-to. So what do I mean by that? Okay, let me show you. So let's just say we're going to draw his nose. And I want to establish the tip, I want to establish, let's just say, how far out his nose is going to come. Well, I might run in my mind, I'm going to run a vertical line. You see that? And this will tell me like, oh wow, that's how far from the edge that edge of the nose should come. Okay, that's a good thing to remember here. So let's see if I can. That's going to go right through the eye there. So the edge of his nose is going to be right about there. All right, where does the other one? Where does the other side come? So this is going to, oh look, right there. Okay, this is helpful. It's going to hit the corner of his eye. I don't have his eye yet, but I could sure kind of estimate where that's going to come into play, right? So we got that. I'm going to come in. There's the glabella, right? So it's just outside the glabella. Look at that. Right about there, maybe. All I'm doing is just looking for alignments. What things line up, okay? All right, let's get this nice shape. So let's go to the outside edge here. I'm just going to come around. It's going to come around like this. I'm going to follow that same path. It's a little bit wider down here. And now I'm going to draw his wings, and it's like the wings are like an upside cup. And the other side, look at that. Now look at the bottom of that. How much of that wing is showing up on the outside of his nose there? Not much. Because this is a 3/4 view. Now right away I could see that I have misjudged his cheek area. Let me show you where this is. But that's okay. That's a drawing. So we can look how much negative shape is over there, and look how much I have on my drawing. See, that's something I will definitely want to adjust as I'm drawing. So let's see what we have here. I'm going to come in here. I'm looking for that negative shape. Okay, that's a good adjustment I just made. Okay, let's get that chin in place. Remember, wider. He's got a nice wide chin there. Like that. Look at that barrel. That barrel of the mouth is huge. This is coming way... Now this is a great measurement. I just noticed this. There's the temple. Okay, there is the corner or the edge of that barrel of the mouth. Look at that. A vertical line shows me it almost lines up with the temple. Okay, that's That's good to discover there. So let's see. I got my temple here. All right, so I'm going to come in just a hair. Okay, and there's that side. And we're going to come in the same thing on that side over here. All right, let's get this center point, and this center point is a curve. It goes over the barrel of the mouth. We're going to establish that right there. Where is that? Where is that center point right there? Okay, I'm going to go right about here, I believe. That's where that mark is. Next mark I want to look at is right here, the corner of his mouth, and right over there, the other corner of his mouth. Let's go ahead and draw that line in. So look at this now. This is going to come down. Now remember, this next one is going to be just as long here. Oop, I definitely went too far on that. There, it's more like that right there. Okay. Okay, next, let's get this bottom lip in. And it's going to start over here, come across, something like that. When I was a kid, I used to read this book, How to Draw the Marvel Comics Way. And they always talked about drawing an upper lip for a man, just dark, and then actually don't even draw the upper lip of the man because it will look like lipstick. Just draw the opening and the shadow underneath his lip there. All right, let's continue on here. All right, so we have those edges there. I'm going to darken in this nostril right here, just the back side there, and let it. And this one is also going to have a little darkness right there. All right, let's get these eyes in place now, huh? All right, so I'm going to go from the corner of the nose right there is going to be the inside of that first eye, and then look where the temple is. Here's the inside corner, here's the temple, and there's the outside corner. So you can see that the outside corner goes beyond the temple, way out here. let's establish where the other one is. The other one's going to be right on the inside there, and it almost goes out here to the edge. Oh, 45 minutes. Woo! I'm going to lose you guys. You're going to be like, I want to go to bed. Joe's going to say, I want to get on with my day. So here, let's get that eye in. The right side is a little bit longer than the inside. And this is going to circle around there. Okay, let's get these pupils in, and we're just going to lightly drop them in place. Same thing with this one over here. And then we're just going to curve the eyelids around just a little bit. Other eyelid is there, the little flap of skin. This one is on the inside here. And I'm just going to tone in these eyeballs. Okay, let's get this center line of this wrinkle of his brow. And then right where his eyebrows are, you could see it's almost like a mass. It's a small mass. So if you think of like, I'm going to add some clay in this area here, it might look something like this. And then we're going to add some over here. He's got some great wrinkles under his eyes, so let's pull those in. It's on both sides there. This left side is, look at this, it's like an S curve here. It comes down like an S curve. Okay, I'm going to get his right side here, and this has a nice curve that comes right into his chin. And let's grab his forehead here. Almost coming straight. Okay. here's an interesting thing. I'm going to show you his nose real fast. Look at this right here. Look at this area here. And this is something to be aware of when you're drawing noses. It gets this great reflective light. You see that right there? So when you're going to draw a nose, sometimes the darker part is going to be right there. Now let me show you how we do that in our drawing. So I might come into my nose, the bottom part of it, and give it just a slight tone. One light, even tone. And then right at this edge here, I'll darken this in just a little bit. And this will give a nice sense of a reflective shadow. All right, let's get these eyebrows in here because I'm sure would like to have some eyebrows. And on the other side, they're kind of wiry like mine at times. And then we definitely want to add some tone to make all of this go deeper into his head. Same thing on the other side. Also has a little bit of a shadow underneath his nose there, so we can add that as well. All right, look, we totally neglected getting his ear in. So let's get his ear in right now. This is where I'm going to use my vertical alignments. I'm going to look at this like, okay, that's going to line up with his mouth there. And that's going to line up with his eye, all right? And it's in the back, toward the back of his head. Look at this. Look at all of this negative shape here. You see that? So let's get this figured out here. All right, so it's going to stay on top there, and the bottom is going to fall all the way down here. Okay, that gives me some nice parameters there. I'm going to just angle this down. Okay. All right. Drawing the inside part of the ear is like the letter C, a backwards letter C, like this. And then you will have a lot of times like the letter Y. So there's the letter Y coming in there. Okay. Let's get the side hair in here. So I'm just kind of looking for the general shape of it. Okay, now I'm just adjusting, making some edits here. His cheek's going to come in like this. Add a little tone on the side of his head here. Let's get his neck in place. His neck is coming straight down the back here. Look at this. Let's get his collar in place. I'm just going to put a mark where the tip of his collar is. Now I'm looking at that zipper, and look how far down that zipper is there. Okay. Also look at the negative shape here. Look at the negative. Look at this negative shape right there. You see that? That gives me an idea of where to put that other collar. So I'm going to come in here. And then this, look at that. That's almost like a straight line there. This curls around. I apologize if I went too fast there at the end, but you're getting the idea. I'm going to add some hairs here to establish that this is this hair back here. Look at his chin. He also has reflective. The longer I look at this picture, I see more and more things. Like, look at this, has an overall tone right here. And then it gets a little bit darker right there. This is really going to show us that there's reflective light coming up there. And I think that's going to do it for tonight there. That should give you plenty to practice and chew on a little bit. Now let's see what's going on with this. Let's bring those together. Last thing I'm going to do is add just a little highlight. And there you go. Well, listen, thank you for tuning in tonight, and I hope that you all learned a little something from that. I look forward to seeing everyone. Yeah, AJ, me too. I always get excited to see that. So, yep. Thanks for watching tonight. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. Do like the video. Please give me a little comment down below. And that's what we got for tonight. I will see you tomorrow in Facebook. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good evening. Joe, have a great day. Go make your day great, Joe. All right, bye-bye.